Welcome back to the grim darkness of the 41st millennium. I'm Inquisitor Temperance Pryce, keeper of the Inquisition's Black Library, and this is the second volume in a report on the Valentyne Heresy, an actual play podcast set in the Genesys Adaptation of Warhammer 40k's Dark Heresy RPG. This report features Game Master Ryan LaPlante and players Tom McGee as Interrogator Nero Abagnale, Laura Elizabeth as Piper Fairley, Tyler Hewitt as Seth Corbyn, and Borovic as Sister Olianne Mina. My report shows that round 4 of the match escalated for the Inquisitorial band. Nero pulled Skullshield into the arena and revealed his rosette, convincing Skullshield to fight with him. Seth and Warden joined the fray, and the Dark Aeldari fled, but not before Warden accidentally shot Seth. Will the band be able to stabilize Seth and save his life as the guards come rushing in? Find out next, in this episode of the Valentyne Heresy.
From the recorded musings of Fabius Bile. I have never been a great believer in glory. Pleasure is an illusion, only pain is real. And things are getting real for the Inquisitorial band. To place everyone exactly where you are, you're all on the ramp, heading down away from the arena, except for, of course, Piper, who is being hauled out by security forces with shotguns to her head.
That's fine.
But down below, Warden is at the top of the ramp, having just fired down it, and hit Seth at the bottom, who has had a blast through his chest and has fallen, and we'll find out how quickly he's dying in a moment. While in between, the injured party has fled the arena, Nero is being carried by Mina alongside 2 Cabalite warriors of the Dark Aeldari until the advancing security forces have stormed in. These are the guards that you'd seen entering, kind of ultra fit in the Imperial kind of house livery that you've seen the governor's wearing. However, they've all strapped on backpacks and are carrying hell guns. Clearly, they were extremely ready for violent breakouts inside the arena. And they open fire in a wave. The bolts all blast past and around you, though, cutting down the 2 Cabalite warriors before they can even bring their weapons to bear. And the security forces begin yelling all at once in that cacophonous way that you hear in police movies. Just drop your weapons, get on the ground, drop your weapons, you're under arrest. You're all there. What do you do?
Ryan, a quick point of clarification for us. We, the players, know that Seth was shot, but Seth, you had like your octo camo on, right? Like you were invisible?
Yeah, I'm assuming that's not the case now. That I've been hit
it would
and
blend in
dropped.
with the environment. Let's roll a perception. I think for Mina, for Warden, and for Nero. Okay. What does the camo do again, Tyler? Does it add boost to your ability to stealth, or
adds boost to my ability to stealth, and it adds +2 setback for me to be detected?
So I will say that it'll be difficulty 2 because he's dramatically different than the people there, but we'll add 2 setback because his camo armor may hide the fact that Seth was going down. And
Ryan, what's our story point situation today?
You have 1 and I have 4.
Oh yeah, let's burn.
I
want to look real good.
I'm gonna upgrade one of the difficulties.
No.
You know, this is also shadowed. Andy's coming in from the dark. Andy's camo. I'm gonna say it's difficulty 3, so I'm gonna upgrade one of them to a red.
Yeah. Also, Ryan, I hate to continue to spit in our own eye, but I don't think any of us would be looking for Seth. Like, no, as a player, Tom wants to know if Seth is there, but
yeah,
I think that would make it harder for us to. It may just be part of the 3, but like none of us are like, where's Seth?
Yeah, I would say let's add a 3rd setback then. So it's 2 purple, 1 red, and 3 setback.
Warden might be going to see to confirm who he hit.
Right.
Warden probably Warden's at the back, so I would say Warden, you can take it at difficulty 2. So Warden will be 1 purple, 1 red, and only 2 setback. Because Warden shot the target actively, so if someone was to realize who that is, I think Warden's got the most focus in that direction.
Cool.
Yeah, that tracks. All right, cool.
All right, here
Seth,
we go.
you are aware you were shot, but we'll get to you in a minute.
Roll perception.
Yeah.
All right, so Warden's got 3 successes and 3 threats.
Okay. Warden, you recognize that was Seth. So that fucks you up to begin with. And you've also been ordered to protect Nero, so you will not lower your weapon unless specifically instructed to.
All right, well, Mina's out. She got 1 failure, 3 threats.
Mina, what I will say is you didn't see it, and you have not set Nero down yet.
Yes.
Del, I see your 3 failure, 3 threat, and raise you a 2 advantage, 3 failure.
Ooh.
So I definitely don't see him.
Nope. So the only person who's seen it is
Can
Warden.
I spend that advantage, though?
Fortunately, Warden can speak up and tell you all with words.
Yeah, he's great at that.
Yeah,
no problem.
That's his favorite.
Yeah.
I think what we'll do with the advantage is we'll carry a boost forward to your next roll, Tom, whatever it will be in terms of interacting with the crowd or otherwise. I think it's just taking in the fact that for the crowd, you're being carried, so you're clearly, it doesn't seem like Mina and you are storming down the gate to kill all the security guys. So
I also think based on what I'm about to do, it'll be very apparent, I think.
What's going on?
Yeah, all right.
Okay, let's see what happens then. I think at the top of our relative initiative order will be Nero Abagnale. Great.
I know this is a shocking move. This is something I've never done as this character, but I'm going to lean in close to someone and talk. So I lean in and just say to Mina and say, "Hey, listen, if this all goes tremendously badly, and you'll know when that happens, I need you to swear that you'll kill me and just take control of the whole situation on behalf of the Inquisition, okay? All right? Do it for the Emperor. Horse needs his throne." And then I'll stand back up and just literally pull out the rosette and yell, "Guardsmen, your execution of the Xenos is much appreciated by the Imperial Inquisition. And I, speaking in the Emperor's voice, appreciate your efforts very much." Like immediately back into Nero. I'm still being held up in the air though, so it's a little less imperial than he's hoping.
Yeah, so let's see what happens, because I think this'll be a defining role for their reaction.
Yeah, I suspect so.
What feels like the skill you'd be using here, Nero?
Well, here's the thing. I'm not lying.
That's the thing.
So
is your highest skill deception, or what is it?
It's agility, just in general. No, I have no deception. I have no charm. I have no leadership. I've got.
Do you have coercion?
Nope. I've got cool. I've got.
I would accept the
lore. I've got interrogation. But yeah, if we can just take cool, I guess.
Let's go with cool. I think this is for lack of a better term, a balls check.
I think it's also that like the crowd can't immediately check the rosette. So anyone could theoretically flash a rosette and say, "Fuck you, I'm the Inquisition." But like any asshole could do that, and it could be a fake I made on Space Etsy. So let's go for that.
With a crowd of 20 of the security folk, I check the rules. That's difficulty 4 for social interaction against a crowd of that size. I will give you 2 boost for having a rosette, because I think that's a pretty ballsy move. I will give you 1 setback because they can't tell whether or not it's real. You've already established as you yanked Skullshield into the arena that only so much can be done. And then I will spend a story point to upgrade 1 of the difficulty, because I think this is a very fraught moment where they're not likely to be trusting.
I will also spend a story point, seeing as I only have 2 yellow in my favor right now, to very add reasonable. An additional green. I am going to use a clever retort, that retort being "fuck you, I'm the Inquisition," to drop 2 setback. Which I can do once per social encounter. And I'm spending my advantage for an additional boost forward, as we discussed on that last roll.
Yep. So
in total, I'm looking at 1 green, 2 yellow, 3 purple, 1 red, 3 blue, 2 black.
Wow.
The setback are... Where was your second setback from?
You gave me... you gave me a bunch and I just lost 2. I had 3 from like they're not sure if the rosette is real. And then you gave me an additional 1 for something else. I'm not sure.
The rosette being real would have been 2. So if we subtract that, so you should just be at 1 setback.
Okay.
Because I will add 1 because you're being carried. Essentially.
I'm sorry, there's just so much shit going on right now.
I fully understand.
Very funny.
Can I advocate for an additional boost from the fact that the person carrying me is clearly a sister of battle?
Can I? I was going to say, because I actually have devotional iconography, which gives boost to loyalists because I look like a...
That'll be allowed. The Sister of Blood was clearly a sister. She's covered in devotional icons. It feels likely she's not very rarely are assassins dressed that religiously. Of course. So
I'll also like pull open her cloak to show all the fleurs-de-lis. So just got like her cloak open in one hand, rosette in the other.
Yeah.
Full power of Christ compels you. Okay. So now we're looking at 1 green, 2 yellow, 3 purple, 1 red, 4 blue, 1 black.
Yeah, it feels right. Let's see what happens.
Just a fucking standard Tuesday night.
Jesus.
Let's go. Oh, yeah, baby. 1 advantage. For those curious, 4 successes, 3 advantages, 4 failures, 2 threats. That's out to 1 advantage.
Oh, man. I'm going to let you carry an advantage forward to what will undoubtedly be your next social check. They don't open fire, so that's net neutral.
Checkmate.
Yeah. I think they're going to be kind of storming forwards at this point to kind of physically remove weapons from people. Do any of you resist? What is your intention? I think Mina and Nero, you're kind of doing what you're doing. Warden, what is your reaction to this? They're still yelling, get on your ground. Basically, you can see they're kind of like 2 sergeants, if you were to choose. They've got kind of gladiator-style helmets that have been painted purple. It's 2 burly women leading these teams. The rest are all kind of mixed gender, but coming forwards.
I think Warden kind of like flicks his like hell pistol to be like kind of held like pointing out loosely to the, with like hands up, kind of like I'm not going to shoot. And like puts it down, but there's no fucking way he's giving up his sword.
I mean, I hate to be specific, but your threat from the previous thing means you can't actually disarm yourself without a direct order. You're here to protect Nero, and you think the guards are a threat.
Yes, you're correct.
Doesn't mean you open fire. It's not like you have to shoot. It's just you would react in some way to protect Nero. That was your last order given.
Right. Yes, you're right.
Can I spend my advantage to give that order?
Yes, you can.
As I'm like, because also I'm fully doing the I'm a cop, like as they're like swarming in, and like you blew the whole operation, you assholes. So I'll clearly look over my shoulder and just see like Captain Hell Pistol, and still like my bolter hanging loosely around my chest. I'll just like nod at you, Warden, and be like, yeah, it's all right there, big guy. You can put it down. And then I'm assuming I'm tackled to the ground in like a fucking like Mr. President as I just hold the rosette to the sky.
Yeah. It's a scrum of everybody getting kind of shoved to the ground. But while this is happening, Seth, who has been shot, is laying in an alley.
Buddy.
Oh, man.
Just like your horoscope said you would.
So I think if you were at 0 wounds, you arguably may have been stable. But you just got stomped over by an entire crew of security people storming towards the other ones. So you're now at -1 wounds. So you took 1 unsoakable wound, which puts you into the slowly dying phase.
Yes.
We're going into Ryan invented rules for dying because Dark Heresy didn't allow to try to save people. And I thought there was fun tension in that. So the first thing we will say is that you suffer. Oh, man.
Critical injury time, right?
For this yet? I need you to roll a... It's fun if you roll it. That's punishing. Can you roll me a D100, Tyler?
Yeah, 1 second. Oh, they're up here.
Laura, you've got Warden's sheet, right?
I do.
Does he have anything that adds to the damage from his hell pistol? It's just Pierce, right? That's it?
Yeah, it's just Pierce 3.
Okay, then don't worry about it. All right, what do you got for me there?
88 was my roll.
Oh.
No.
Oh, man.
Roll lower.
No.
Roll lower.
So that means you are compromised. So make a note. You have 1 critical injury, and you increase the difficulty of all skill checks by 1 until this critical injury is healed.
Oh, dear.
So the damage is heavy from the blow directly to the torso, which means it will affect these upcoming checks. So
was that all checks or all physical checks?
That is...
You said... Sorry, I didn't catch that.
That is all skill checks by 1.
Skill checks, okay.
Skill
just
checks.
all checks, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so it won't affect... all skill checks, unless we had something that was just kind of cold on the physical side.
Yeah.
Now you are dying. You're in the early stage of dying, but you are dying.
You are dying.
What's your total total wounds, Tyler?
I'm at -1 right now.
But what's your maximum threshold?
My maximum threshold is 10, so we would be aiming for -10 as dead ski zone. Yeah.
If you hit -10, You're all the way dead. You're at -1 right now.
Yeah.
Which means I'm just double checking my rules so I know when things start to get really bad. Okay, well, when you get to -6, things are going to get crazy. They're still not great for you right now. What I need you to do is we're going to have to go with a resilience roll. It would normally be at daunting, which is 4 difficulty, but because of your compromising injury, it's now difficulty 5.
Difficulty 5 with brawn 1, so I've got my 1 green die ready.
Yep.
So let me add him, Coach.
I will remember you.
We should have 1 story point, right? 1.
I'm not going to waste the team's story point.
Can you not? Can you please
futile attempt.
Can
I
you
was going to
please?
say, you guys have 2 story points right now.
Yeah, Ryan burned a
Please
whole
try. You
bunch
burned
to
one?
fuck us all because he upgraded all of our difficulty
I
dice. And then I
upgraded to
spent
make
one
it harder to see, Seth, and then I upgraded again to make it harder to negotiate with the crowd.
Oh, so we've got 3?
You have 2.
because I spent one.
Oh, you spent one.
Tom spent
Okay.
one. Yeah.
Can't keep
You have
track
2.
of
I
this.
promise you, I'm tracking it. You got 2. So, Daph, do you want to use one for this roll?
No. This is a foregone conclusion.
Sir.
Does everyone want me to
Please.
use?
Yes.
All right, I'll use a story.
Tyler, we're not there with you, bud. It's all you. We all support it, but this is your character, your moment. You're walking into that unknown country.
1 yellow, 5 purple. That's my dice pool so far.
Oh my god.
Oh man, guys, I think
I
we
was
just
just
saved him with that dice.
Laura, just lean back from your mic if you're going to react.
I'm sorry.
Okay, go for it. Go for it. Let's find out what happens, Seth.
1 failure, 2 threats.
Hey, look,
Alrighty.
that's not
Could
as
have been
bad
so
as
much
it could have
worse.
been.
All right, so you are now going to take another wound. This one is considered like a freebie. The next time you lose another wound, it will also add another critical injury. So these will start to stack rapidly, which is to signify your body starting to shut down as the damage starts to become worse and worse while left untreated. I will say, while the security guards are storming over you and you're injured, one of them stays behind and cuffs you. You're injured, but you're now just like rolled over and cuffed. Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
The security officers are there. Warden, I would say they will unstrap and unhook your gun, and then kind of kick you over. You all go down hard and get stripped of weapons. And once you're in manacles, which are the magnetized version of manacles in the 40K universe, highly effective. They hit you at the wrists and the feet, so it's just clamp the whole way down. And the sergeant who seems to be in charge of this squad, Nero, you can look up and see that her name tag, because again, these are all employees at like a fun house, except when they're armed, just says Carolurth Ibalock.
Carolurth Ibalock.
Carolurth Ibalock.
Oh, interesting name.
Patreon says fun stuff. Carolurth just says, well, we're gonna have to see if this is real, but it smells like bullshit to me, doesn't it? She'll take the rosette. Just say
Great. I'll say Sergeant Ibaloth, listen, I got to tell you on behalf of the Empire, the Imperium of Man, we appreciate your efforts here. I appreciate your diligence in magnacling all of us here. You're going to want to check that very quickly, because if there's anything the Inquisition hates, it's being inconvenienced. And I got to tell you, this is a pretty big inconvenience. So check it very, very quickly, will you?
all right, put him up against a wall. Put him up against a wall. And they just haul you up and shove you all against the wall. I will say Nero, I think Seth will be on the farthest side, so the order will be like Seth, Nero, Mina, Warden. Piper is hauled into the room and just kind of thrown into the line with the rest of you on the other side of Seth. It's at this point where all of you realize Seth is tremendously injured. And the Sergeant, Carolurth, leaves with the rosette to get that checked out. I will say Nero... You were the one who sold this. Let's go with cool again. I'm going to say difficulty 3.
Yep.
Let's go with the cool with difficulty 3. I'm going to give you a boost because I think the threat is apparent. And if this is fake, she can basically come back and do whatever she wants. But if it's not, there are definite concerns there.
Yep.
Actually, let's say two boost. Because that feels like something that would put some pressure on it. And then I will add 1 setback just because this does seem incredibly unlikely to her. And also I don't think it's not like she can walk to the corner and jam it in something. So this is really just more a speed of response than anything else check. So is there anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I'm going to buy an additional green with a story point, if that's cool with you.
Yep.
Other than that, the only other thing I could make an argument for here, and this is totally your call based on how these NPCs are running, but given that this is not, in fact, in any way a lie, I think there might be something to the idea, because we've established that like Nero's a fairly, when he wants to be, kind of like, no, this is like, he just owns this. So I'm curious if that's worth an extra boost, but I think you may have already covered that with the threat being apparent.
No, I'll give you a third boost for that. I think that's reasonable. You're not lying, and you're a little too calm for this situation. Like, you're either the world's greatest con man, or they're in some shit.
I'll also say this is, like, in terms of how the rest of the party would be observing this, this is also, like, this is the Nero you remember from Jump Avenue. Like, this is very much in his element, not Twitch. What am I doing? Rolling. Oh, yeah, baby. 2 success, 1 triumph, 1 threat.
Okay.
Shit. All right.
So I lied. There was a thing just around the corner. You found the right ramp for it to be able to plug in. And you got lucky. I think she'll have jammed it into the first data port she could find. And it just overrode the system and brought up the Inquisitorial Eye. If you'd been in a house or a house-owned place, this probably wouldn't have worked. But because it is like the arena run by the planet, it's using traditional Imperial ownership codes and the stuff that you would expect. So rosettes have a little more power than just, this is my ID card. They're kind of like, I'm an Inquisitor and I'm in trouble, jam in, this is my arena now. Yep. So I think it kind of takes over that system immediately. How many threat did you roll, Tom?
1.
1 threat. 2
success, 1 triumph, 1 threat.
Okay, I know what that threat is. That's something that you will not be aware of, but it exists.
Oh, great.
Oh, what are you talking about, Laura? We're unaware. I don't know. What are you talking about? Yeah. It's fine. Everything's great. We won. We won Inquisition.
Because of the triumph and the successes, I think the successes confirm that you are the Inquisition. The triumph means that it happens soon. And she's back and basically comes sprinting around the corner and is like, release them, release them, release them. Lord Inquisitor, what can we do? What can we do for you, Lord Inquisitor?
And before, like, I'll be holding my hands up in that, like, classic Joker being a douchebag way, where it's just kind of like, and as they do it, I'll be kind of pointing not really at Seth because I can't reach him while doing that. I'll just say, if my man dies, 3 of you die. Your choice.
Oh, well, Mina is like freaking out, and and as soon as she's unhandcuffed, she will go and try and heal him.
Alrighty, so they're panicked and kind of unhandcuffing you. You can see they've all started to sweat now. They thought they might get a bonus for bringing down the people who'd kind of taken out Skullshield and ruined the games, but now they're aware that their lives are on the line, and you can see they're almost worried about taking the manacles off of some of you. Mina, I think they would go to you pretty freely because religion is pretty present in these kind of people's lives. Seth would get uncuffed relatively easily. They're nervous around Nero, and they're nervous around Piper and Warden just because they all seem much more out of the league of the traditional security forces. Carol looks at the rest of them and says, move, if whoever doesn't help are the 3 that die. Clearly she has very little faith in the fact that Seth can make it out of this alive. Mina, I will give you a chance to administer medicine because I think that is something you can do before they start trying to carry him.
I would like to do that, please.
You have your Medicae skill.
I have
intellect based.
I have Medicae. I have a med kit, and I know combat medicine because I studied under Hospitallers.
I was really hoping you were going to say that you also knew Kung Fu. Like just in that list,
I also knew
health kit, Medicae, also Kung Fu. Fucking come at me, guys.
Fair enough.
I'll break you and then fix you.
So the only issue being that can Seth take 4 strain?
What is your strain?
Question for me to answer?
Do you know what? Here's the thing. I think he can't tell you. I think you got to make that call cold.
Then all right, then we're doing it. It's fine.
The difficulty on this will be current wounds exceed wound threshold. Yeah, it'll be hard. So that's 3 difficulty.
Okay.
I will say I'm going to carry over his critical injury because his system is compromised, not just him as an ability to do things. So I will say that'll raise it to 4.
Oh, it's going to raise it. Okay.
Yeah, so it'll raise it to 4 for you because I think it affects his ability to heal/be healed.
Okay.
I'm going to give you... What do you get for having your medikit?
The medkit gives me 1 boost.
Okay. I'm going to add 1 setback just because you're covered in the blood of a variety of things, and this is in no way sanitary.
Yes.
Also, you're improvising, and he's wearing armor. So actually, I'm going to add a 2nd setback because I think you have to get through his, like... What are you wearing, Seth? Is it some kind of special body glove? I can't remember.
Yeah, it's not that special. Enforcer Light Carapace.
Okay, yeah, the Carapace, I would argue, would add 1. Because what's the usual defense on that, Seth? Is it 2 or 1?
Defense is 1.
Defensive. Okay. Yeah, I'll still keep the setback. I think... Okay, I am going to use a story point to make one of those purples red.
Okay. And we don't have any more story points, right?
You do not.
Okay.
So it's
you will next turn.
And my critical injuries that are making this harder for you. Call those Sethback dice.
Ooh.
Hey.
Yes.
Oh, jokey fun time, Seth.
They're hard to bring Seth back.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm telling you what's going to happen is, for one thing, Seth has to take 4 strain, but it gives me 2 automatic successes because I know combat medicine.
Nice.
So I have 1.
So it's going to hurt, but it's going to be super effective.
Hopefully. I have 1 green, 2 yellow, 3 purple, 1 red, 1 blue, 2 black.
Oh, Jesus.
And 2 automatic
successes.
Oh,
okay, right.
Here you go.
Oh, boy.
She's going to definitely lean down and be like, "Oh God, Emperor Seth," and 2 successes, 1 triumph.
Yes.
Bless.
Damn.
I'm going to confirm exactly what that means, but that is a very solid roll.
Thank goodness.
Oh,
the triumph's got to be like, "Oh, you're fine now, right?"
Well, my vote is that the med kit has some kind of spray that's like, it's just like gonna fill up the hole in his lung.
So it was 2 successes, correct?
2 successes, 1 triumph.
Okay, your 2 successes will heal 2 wounds. So Seth, you're back to 0.
0.
Which will mean that you stabilize.
Yeah,
I will give you that.
I'm not. I can't take actions and stuff like that, but I'm not dying anymore.
Yeah, essentially you're dozing, but them moving you or kind of throwing an arm over a shoulder and carting you around won't hurt you any further.
Yeah,
and nice. The triumph means she actually healed your critical injury, so you're no longer compromised. So when you come back, you're there.
Now we just gotta fix you.
Good rolling.
Yeah.
Diggity damn.
She's got the right, I think in the med kit, it's kind of an advanced but functional version of what you get with Guardsman setup. So there's a powder that kind of gets in there and cauterizes some of the wounds, but also seals shut the sucking hole over your lung.
Yeah.
It's got enough. It's clearly
it's like drywall powder. It just kind of like
there's an antibiotic.
It's expanding foam.
Dries and hardens.
Yeah. And then she slaps some synth skin kind of over it. Your armor basically looks like a tin can has been pried open the whole way around. But you're now kind of being carried. Piper and Warden.
Oh, and then Mina will totally princess carry him around now.
Oh,
great. So she scoops him up. The group will just start being led by Carolith, who's not sure that he's getting better, because I think, Mina, you're the only one who's confident that he's stable. Everyone else's lives are on the line, so they just start kind of doing that secret security protective detail jog all around you, hurrying towards an internal med bay. There is one. It's an arena. Obviously, it's highly valuable. Piper and Warden. Where are you guys at? Piper, you went from gun to your head to not gun to your head. Warden, you shot Seth. You're the only one currently aware of that.
I mean, I don't know Warden that well yet, but I mean,
well, you can make some defining choices for him, right?
Let's get to know Warden.
I know. Let's get to know Warden. I think
to remind you, Warden can sign if Warden would want to talk to Piper about it or the rest of the party, or Piper could be picking up Warden's surface thoughts. You've spent the most time together, so I think that would be more apparent to Piper.
That's true. I think Warden is like as he's preparing to like he would 100% like reveal to the team that he shot someone, because I think he's very like just straightforward about like, it's almost like mission report required at this moment. But I think as he's literally like lifting his hand to sign, Piper just like smacks him on the shoulder, like, "You shot him. You're the one."
I think Warden will just give like a curt, kind of uncomfortably embarrassed nod.
Yes,
like he's a pro,
100%.
but he fucked this up and it's not comfortable to him.
Totes.
And I think he'll also look to Nero and look back to you, Piper, and then he'll just sign, tapping a few fingers on his chest. He can't execute me until he finds a replacement.
And I will sign at both of them. Execute you. You did your job just fine. And then I'll give him a thumbs up.
I mean, that's a bit generous, but okay.
It confused Warden will sign back, "Thank you, sir," and then just give Piper a dirty look for not agreeing with the interrogator.
I'll join him. And then I turn my attention back to other things.
Yeah. You enter hurriedly. I'd say the security most of them will peel off, but Carolith will follow you into the room, into what is a rather small med bay. You get the sense that there's not a lot of survivors of value in the arena. It seems like a lot more, you're either the star and then worth healing, or you're human garbage and they don't care. Inside there is one large tank. What's known, I think you'd all recognize this. There is one on your ship as a resuscitrix, similar to the Bacta tanks of Star Wars.
Bacta.
Yeah, it's similar to that and more horrifying than that. It's kind of a giant tube that opens up and can be shut, climate controlled. There are servitor arms inside it that do undoubtedly terribly uncomfortable and bloody things to someone, but can speed up the metabolism over time. So imagine like a hellish version of the Bacta tank.
Nice.
Currently, there is a stormtrooper who's been shot through with a variety of Dark Eldar like shredder rounds being loaded into the resuscitrix, next to which is standing Lucia Bane as she's watching him be put into place with other people coming towards us. And she just says, "What are you doing here?"
I mean, the game is up, so I'll just smile graciously as though she's a guest at my house. Say, "Hi, Lucia. Hey, yeah, it's great to see you. Listen, I'm gonna need that. So I know you're proud of your guy there, but honestly, that's what white flags are for. So we're gonna need that tank for. I believe you know my Inquisitorial bandmate Seth speaks with the voice of the Emperor. He may not have mentioned that. He's kind of shy about it, but we're not so shy today." And I'll just hold up the rosette and just gesture her to fuck right the fuck back from the tank, but to stay in the room because I got words for her. And then I'll gesture Carol without taking my eyes off Lucia and just say, "Also, I'm going to need you to call pal of mine, Ignatius Ironforth. We're going to need him here just in case we need to make any improvements to my boy Seth here. All right. So you just get on that. And you know what? You're doing a great job so far. And honestly, at this point, I'm inclined to just let you decide who I kill after the affront that your group gave the Inquisition and the Emperor himself. So keep up the good work, and I'll make sure that power stands in your hand. All right.
All righty. I'm going to need you to roll a coercion. Because she is, quote unquote, above your station to most of society, you automatically suffer 1 strain for just trying to affect her with a social check.
That's fine. I am visibly haggard, more so than usual. My bags have bags have bags.
Your difficulty will be 3.
Yep.
I'm going to give you 2 boost for the rosette and 1 setback for, I mean, A, being rude because she's going to respond to that naturally with derision, but also Maximilian and her Suicide Kings. We've established that that's how she keeps control, is they always get the best. So she's going to be tempted to stand up, even if it's a defeatist gesture, just that it goes down kind of on the record for that one. You do have 1 story point, and I have 4.
Yep. I am not going to use any. Nero is not good at coercion, and I don't think it's suitable.
Interrogator?
Listen, I'm very good at interrogation, but if there aren't knives involved in a dark room, then not great. It's just like talking to you out here in the
getting
hall.
information in a cell and in like threatening someone in public are two different.
Yeah, that's actually why I bring along a face who happens to have a bullet in his chest right now. But that's kind of why we hang out. So no, I'm not going to use a story point on this. I think Nero's whole gamble here is that the weight of the Inquisition will actually do the work for him, and whether or not that's true, that's all he can actually rely on. So, did you want to jack that up at all, Rand? I've got 2 green,
I'm going to spend
purple.
a story point. I think she's going to be pissed, mainly because she was promised. Now she knows by someone in the Inquisition that she'd win.
Yeah, well, she should have hired better stormtroopers. Hey, now 1 success, 2 advantage.
All right, she will back down. I will say for your advantage, she doesn't send for Ignatius Ironforth, but Carol Earth is the fuck out of here.
I'm sorry. That part was to Carol Earth.
Perfect. That's how she's taking
No,
it anyways,
I wouldn't order Lucia to go pick anyone up. I ordered Lucia to back up, and then everything else was to Carol. I'll let you decide who dies. That was all Carol Earth. There's no way I'm threatening Lucia Bane with that. That's dumb.
Great. Yeah. Carol Earth has fucked off instantly. And she just disappears. And Lucia Bane, the kind of the nurses in the room just look to Lucia. There's like a kind of low-level tech adept and then 3 nurses in pretty traditional gear. Like they look pretty professional. It's a clean room, clearly well put together. You get the vibe that this is probably where champions of the arena, if they fall in a match, are rushed in because they're the people that are bringing in big crowds. So this is top-level treatment. They look to Lucia and she's like, I can't compete with the Inquisition. Get him out and put him on the slab. And there's to the side, you can see there is an elaborate slab kind of surgical table set up for those who are probably either too damaged to get into the resuscitrix to stabilize them, or for when you look around the room, you can see there are a few augmetic limbs and the other kind of sensor nerves that you know are inserted into stumps for augmetics to be put in later. And they just haul this beat up ruined, tortured stormtrooper over and slap him down on that table. And they rush over. Mina, is there anything you would say to them? Would you help them put Seth in? I think you've got enough experience with these that it's not foreign to you.
Yeah, I think she wouldn't say anything, but she would definitely help. And like to get him out of the armor and all, she would help with that. And she would keep a close eye on them, like make sure they're not doing anything shady. Like because she's just like so cranky now.
Del, can I can Nero interrupt that as you begin to do it?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I think seeing Lucia Bane's reaction and the stormtrooper, I think I would just come up and put a hand on your shoulder as you're working, and as is my way, lean in and just say, hey, we might need to keep Lucia on side. Do you think you could do anything for a stormtrooper over there?
Of course, I will certainly try. And she will.
Yeah, we might need him more than Seth, so get to it. And I'll just like pat her on the shoulder and say, don't worry, Miss Bane, we got some assistance for you. She's the best.
I can definitely do a Medicaid check on him.
Yeah, let's go for it. It'll be difficulty 3.
Okay. Let's get this going.
I will give you 2 setbacks solely because it's been a while since he's been brought here and they didn't bother with other first aid because they thought they would have the resuscitrix. So the idea was, the big thing will do it. And now they don't have their power up. So some things have been allowed to lightly fester.
Totally. Can I get my boost for my med kit?
Absolutely.
All right. And then he gets to take 2 strain. Hopefully that doesn't kill him. So we'll see.
It does not.
All right. So I've got double checking. Medicaid. 1 green, 2 yellow, 3 red, nice. 1 boost, 2 setback, 2 successes. I will roll. 1 success, 2 threats.
Okay, so he takes further strain, so he is going to remain unconscious. But I will say for your successes, you do manage to bring him back to stable. So again, he's not dying, he's not doing good, but there is now a chance that, someone can get to him with some surgical expertise to try to deal with the damage.
And she's going to just kind of step back and her hands, she's just bloody everywhere. And she's like, well, I did the best I could and may the Emperor watch over him, I suppose. And go back to Nero.
Yeah. Piper and Warden, you're standing by the door of this kind of relatively small space. Again, half Resuscitrix, half is the surgical table with the staff inside it. The walls are all lined with, if you imagine kind of the traditional, the little glass windowed steel framed where you can see all the different tools and things in there, as well as a few standing tables, shelves where they can have trays of tools all set up. It's clearly ready to go. You get the feeling they probably have the staff on call and they just are ready to swoop in at any moment all day. But behind you, Piper, you just hear this voice saying, all right, so what do they need me for? And you turn around and feel the gentle hum of anti-gravs hitting kind of the side of your shoe. And the tech priest, Ignatius Ironforth, who you have not met, but who now considers himself a loose part of the Inquisitorial band, is floating next to you.
And I think I just kind of look at him and just like turn back to everyone and like point my thumb back at him and be like, so someone called for this guy?
I'll just give Piper like actually, I'll give Warden a thumbs up, but like look at Piper so it seems like it's for her, but it's clearly don't shoot this man. So I'll just wave him in.
Hello, it is me, Ignatius Ironforth.
Yes. Dear Ignatius, welcome. Hey, listen, and I'll look over and like put my hand on his shoulder and lean in real close, and I'll be like, "Hey, things have accelerated a little bit. We're kind of wearing the Inquisitorial eye a little bit more loosely now. Listen, a friend of mine is in that tube over there, and I really kind of need his skills because I'm really bad at a lot of things that he's really good at. So I'm gonna need you to make sure he survives better if possible, but the same at worst. Can you do that for me?" For the Inquisition.
Well, I mean, I can do anything, sort of. Give me a moment. I will go check his vitals. And he just floats over and hauls open a panel on the side of the Resuscitrix. You'd expect him to go to kind of the front display where you can read things that are going on, but he reaches in and just yanks out 2 wires and plugs them into the side of his stomach, and you just see his eyes start rotating through text, lightning fast inside his. And his exposed teeth are chattering with the little lips just around them and no other part of his face being biological. It's unsettling, but that's what's happening. And Lucia Bane steps forward and says, all right, so you're the Inquisition. Why are you with the governor? What the fuck is going on here?
And I'll look legitimately crestfallen because I am. It's just not how I wanted things to go. And I'll say, Lucia, I apologize about how all this has gone down. My merry band here and I, we were sent to ensure a safe transfer of power. There are a lot of interests at work here, but we had some rather concerning reports coming off this planet. Anytime prom is involved, greed gets involved, and greed can lead to all sorts of things like cannibal feasts and Xenos being held on an imperial world for sport. So, we just had to come and see for ourselves. And unfortunately, I gotta tell you, I'm not thrilled with the way things are going. But the good news is we're here. We're happily telling everyone we're here now. We're going to ensure that the rest of these events go safely and that there's a safe transfer of power, possibly to you. I understand my man Seth, and I'll point to the tube, was working in your favor. I was in the arena with Sister Mina here, hoping to take a dive in your favor. But then Xenos, lots of Xenos. And you know how we feel about Xenos, not great. So listen, you don't need to worry. You don't need to worry that we're here to ruin things, to seize control. The only thing I'm seizing control of are the proceedings of these games. Sound good to you?
Well, I think I can't be the only person to permit this. And then you just hear the click of the speakers like they have in those arenas come on, and that awkward mic hiss. They just hear, hello, everyone, it's Gazzy, Inquisitor. There was an alarm that went out. Surprise to all of us, I'm sure. We're going to require you upstairs. Also, Lucia Bane, wherever you are, everyone's all pissed off and we're upstairs. So we're going to have a meeting with the Inquisitor. Oh, balls, I'm high. And then he just hangs up and the speaker goes off. And you realize, Nero, based on that threat that went out earlier, apparently there was some kind of warning that went through the arena that the Inquisition was present. So the houses are all aware and have scheduled a meeting upstairs. Lucia says, well, it seems like your man in there, if he makes it out, likes me for the governorship. How do you feel about it being me? Like, she's immediately shifted to how is this an advantage?
And I'll smile very coyingly, extend my gauntleted hand and just say, you know what? It's yours for a drop of blood.
I love a man who makes a deal. And she'll just reach out to one of the scalpels on the side thing and just jab her finger on it. One-handed. She pins it down with the other three fingers and stabs herself on the end with the fourth because her hands are just big, beefy, badass lady. And she just extends the bleeding finger.
And I'll flip the gauntlet over and just kind of extend it out and say, sorry, it's a weird Inquisition tradition.
You check whatever genetics you need to, handsome. And she'll just slap the blood into the kind of exposed cupola.
And I'll slap it shut and just say, thanks. With all the Xenos shit going on, I mean, look at the size of you. I wouldn't be surprised if you could just punch your way through an entire wall, you know?
Well, you know, you do what you got to do for your house on the scale of things. So it couldn't be any smaller than Krungus or things could get weird. All right, so I think I'll see you upstairs where we can figure out, the tragedy of this. And I agree, the Xenos, monstrous, but clearly Nero's Skullshield is paid for his crimes. Love you all. I don't know, keep him alive. Goodbye. She just strides out and leaves Maximilian on the slab. Ignatius will unplug himself and come back over and look to the group. Because he knows Nero's in charge. He's not really sure of Piper and Warden, so he just kind of gives them a glance. And then he looks over to Mina, gives a nod, because Mina's useful. All right, so he was shot in the lung, and it's basically torched. So I can leave him in the tube, and then by the end of the day, the Resuscitrix will have him up and about. He's not going to be doing great, but he'll be doing a lot better than if you just, let him sleep it off. Or I could take him out and put the blue boy in there and get back to him later. And I could put robotic lungs in him. I've got a set. They're pretty high quality. It'll get him up and running faster for you. You could probably go do that meeting and then let me do this. And then I'll pump him full of some stuff that he probably won't like. That'll make him a little shaky. But then he can at least get back to work and have conversations. So it's up to you, Interrogator.
I'll look to, I think, Piper for this, actually. Just say, any thoughts there, Piper?
Well, what do you mean?
What do you think?
Get it done quickly.
I believe the Inquisitor is wondering if I am up to the task I am claiming, or if perhaps I am lying.
Oh, I turn and smile. I'm like, oh, Ignatius, that was never in doubt, buddy. I got utmost faith in you. You're great. I just, as you know, being a part of an Inquisition party means trusting each other. So I'm just asking my trusted bandmates like you. Mina?
Oh, he's already has augmentives, so
I'll just turn around and be like, Ignatius, is this going to hurt?
He will remain unconscious for most of it in an ideal scenario.
So
and Piper butts. It's like, what are we all waiting around for? Just get it done already.
Ignatius, just tell me, is it going to hurt him?
Yes.
Good. Do it.
Yay! This will be fun. Ha 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 ha. He reaches over with both hands and just cracks the door off of it opens up from the bottom and it's just ka-chunk way faster than it's meant to. And he trades Maximilian very roughly over and is very careful with Seth bringing him over and drops Seth off on the table. And he's like, go do your meeting with the house leaders and I will fix up this one as much as I can.
As we go to leave, we'll just say, look, if things go bad and you find yourself needing any extra parts, and I'll just nod at Maximilian and I'll be like, don't be shy. And then I'll make for the door.
Oh, and he goes over and you just see a little laser thing go down and scan Maximilian's body. He's like, nah, tainted by Eldar poison. Just very disappointed, and circle back around to
I'll
begin
point
surgery.
over my shoulder and be like, that's why I like this guy.
Yeah, he reaches up and snaps a finger, and you just hear whirring in the distance. And all of a sudden, 3 giant, bulky med servitors burst in behind him. One of them just reaches over and shoves a nurse against the wall, who kind of bounces, and they realize they're no longer welcome. So they leave. The servitors are there to work. And the rest of you head upstairs to find out how the game has changed now that the Inquisition is involved. From a captured audio recording of Fabius Bile. My foes have shown a remarkable tenacity. They will not cease their search. I would only be delaying the inevitable. No, better to meet them on my terms and bring this chapter of my life to an end. Like Fabius Bile, you've had enough of slinking in the shadows. It's been getting too complicated. The party has revealed themselves, and it's time for you to make your first dramatic entrance to an improvised conference of house leaders within the arena of the Dominion Omnium Protohive. You've made your way up several flights of stairs. You're heading towards a large kind of box in the traditional arena sense of the glass wall. There'll undoubtedly be some kind of stateroom behind it. There are 2 doors. You've kind of directed by servants who are not following you. They're all just looking at the floor, kind of just pointing in directions from corners. Do you guys have a plan of attack for your entry or your approach? You have time to speak before you enter. Tyler, Warden's just going to be that guy who keeps getting handed around. So congratulations, you're Warden.
Will I need the character sheet then?
Yeah. I will, Laura, if you could send him that character sheet, that
Sure
would be
thing.
Hey,
Appreciate it.
Warden Hoffen.
Yeah. And Tyler's dead. We almost that killed Seth. Nothing else. Just that joke. Nero, you would be the one leading the team who's probably gone into these things before, but clearly you're a pretty collaborative leader. So what are you looking for out of this coming conversation?
Well, I guess my first question is, how fast is my wrist ding? Because I took a sample of Lucia Bane's blood, and I've got the genetic base for all of the leaders.
I think it'll go through pretty fast. So it's hit you the green. It is confirmed that this matches the logged DNA that you had anticipated.
I feel a lot better about helping save Seth's life now. If it had been red, to the moon. Cool. So I'll kind of turn over my shoulders as we walk. I assume we're doing like a dramatic walk and talk, fucking Sorkin style, but grimdark. So like skulls and spikes and Sorkin. And I'll just say, yeah, all right, guys. So obviously things got a little out of hand there. Wasn't expecting to get ambushed by Aeldari. You know, they're kind of mean folks. Although Piper, looks like you were under arrest too, so it seems like this all kind of worked out for the best, aside from Seth. But I mean, when does it ever really work out for Seth? We've been wrapped up a lot in the politics, this whole situation a lot lately, and that's fair. You know, we're really trying to get in here and we're really trying to get some answers, but we can't lose sight of the fact that Fabius Bile is here, that Horus's heresy is here amongst these people. So we really got to get blood samples one way or another from these other house leaders. And now might not be the time, but it might be the time, you know? Also, I may make some threats. Piper, you and I have had some differences of late. I'm going to do everything in my power to get you some protection so you can unleash your powers on this place in safety. Okay? But I'm also going to need you to not ask questions when I bring up certain orbital bombardment plans that I'm pretty sure I'm going to talk about. Okay?
You sure this is the best tactic?
No, our tactic guy took a bullet to the chest, and I'll like nod to Warden. I'll say, but we're running pretty low on options here, Piper. So unless you've got, and I'll like lean in even closer and kind of like try and edge Mina out. And I'll just be like, do your friends in the warp have any advice for us?
What do you mean, my friends in the warp?
You know, the voices you hear, you know, your friends in the warp. You know, when you use your powers.
I don't know. I haven't heard them since like we heard them over the Vox. So like, and I like open my mind a little bit.
Okay. Well, I'm going to try and make it so that you can open your mind safely. Does that sound good to you?
Yeah,
Okay,
that sounds great to me.
great. Let's
You
get
have a
those
really,
voices
really
back.
strange idea about like warp and stuff. But go on.
And I'll just smile and say, "You have no idea."
And I
And
just
at
like,
that
I
point-
kind of like shake my head and like look to Mina like, what the fuck is with this guy?
And that is when you stroll through the doors into the midst of an argument as Piper Jim takes to Mina.
Yeah, pretty much.
Warden, what do you think Warden's feeling as Warden follows this group from the rear into the room, Tyler?
Warren's going to be so different as he changes hands from every flare. Warren's like, glad no one's talking about me. Just kind of like...
I like this because it truly will be a collectively built character over time. But you stride into a room where an argument has clearly been going on for a while and things are already heated. At the center of the space is a giant granite aquila. It's flat. It's laid on the floor. It's clearly the central table. On it, you actually see a buffet spread of what you would think of as very high-end sporting snacks. There's clearly like a fancier version of nachos and other things you would expect to see at like a game, only made by the fanciest chefs. So there's like every nacho chip is a little bit gold-plated. It's clearly to the detriment of the taste of the food, and it's been picked over, but no one's really here to eat. However, on two of the walls as you walk in, there's kind of the big door, and on both the left and the right, there are full bars, just floor to ceiling, wall to wall. They don't just have drinks. There's also a selection. You can see Obscura, you can see Low Sticks. There's kind of every drug or drink of choice that any of the finest psychopaths of the Imperium could want to enjoy while watching Bloodsport. And the rear of the space is open air. There's a simple gold bar that's raised to about waist height for the tallest of the people attending. It's clearly sized to be house leader size, not the rest of you as regular people who aren't built as proto Space Marines. There is no glass, but you can see a shimmer to the air, and you realize there is a refractor field there that has clearly been kept active since the earlier events. So you're not going to be receiving any gunfire through there. You're aware you can shoot through refractor fields traditionally on people because they're not the most superpowered, but this is clearly a structural choice. You have a feeling that one would be much stronger and more capable. Would take probably a heavy weapon or a mass explosive to actually get through. But in the center of the room, spread around the table, are a number of giant superhumans and smaller regular humans, all yelling at each other pretty dramatically. All four of the house leaders are present. Rancid is not in the room. Clearly, they're not even bothering to pretend that he's the one driving this. But Gazzy, Lucia Bain, Krungus Marcus, and Roberto Vance are all pointing fingers, red in the face. They're all still in their beautiful dresses and floppy sun hats of their appropriate colors. In between each of them, you can see a figure from the Adeptus Mercantile, who you have not interacted with before, but you'd recognize her from the large table, and you realize this is Guildmistress Lorion Vase. In the corner, Pettis Fedidum is just standing, looking nervous and a little bit recalcitrant. It's the first time you've seen Pettis not the life of the party making deals, but it's very clear that his boss is present and this has gone badly. Piper, you know about the bet, so you're aware that there is some stress there for him, depending on how this all works out. You also see Chasener Bo-Katan is standing off to the side, but along with the rest there is Marshal Valda Decimus, who is a gruff older woman in a grav wheelchair. I think like Professor X's chair, but a little boxier and a little more crudely put together. She's wearing full armor over her torso arms, and she's got a helm that's clearly resting in a little socket in the front. So it's almost in her lap, but it's built into a slot in the chair, and she's got the shotgun over her back. She's had rejuvenate work done. She still looks old. Like, don't get me wrong. She's clearly closing in on 100, but I think you all know enough to know that she's probably closing in on 300 or 400 to look that old with the treatments plus be in the chair. She can still throw down, but they've had to enhance her to allow her to be able to do that over time. And that is everybody in the room. Sorry, got a lot of characters to keep track of.
Could I grab her name again? Sorry, Brian?
Yes. She is Marshal Valda Decimus.
Great.
And I have a question that I think Warden would be keen to know.
Yep.
Since we were we declared ourselves Inquisitors, did we get our weapons back?
Yes, they all would have been
armed again.
They all would have been returned to you instantly. Basically, the people who took them back the moment you were unmagnacled, you'd be given them back. So you are all fully armed entering this room.
Okay.
You don't, obviously, the Arbites are armed. You don't see any weapons on the rest of them, but under their voluminous dresses and with their general gen enhancements and vat muscle, plus they own this room, you don't think this would be the, oh, now we pull guns and could slaughter everyone in here. It's just, they're not trying to take it away from you. At this point, you get the sense that you're getting the same kind of level of credit that an Arbites would, like the official ones, not the enforcers, which is they can't legally take the weapons away from you, so they're not stupid enough to ask if they're not going to send an army to take them from you. So you're permitted to enter. But the argument that's going on that you can overhear is clearly over who won the games today. And you can hear a number of different factions coming in from different points. Guildmistress Lorion Vase is over in the corner. No, it doesn't matter. This is a tie. No one wins. No one wins at all. Nero, I think most of you are smart enough to realize for the Adeptus Mercantile who host the betting, it's pretty safe bet that very few people bet there was going to be a tie. So that's just like the easiest way for the Adeptus Mercantile to make supreme bank. Lucia Bain is yelling, well, I won. They were cheaters, so that doesn't count. That means I lasted the longest and I won the first day. Meanwhile, Gazzy is in his car going, I don't know, I think they did really good. I mean, they killed everything in the arena and then they got Nero's Skullshield too. Like, you guys just got bonus points for killing him. Krungus Marcus is just bellowing, just fists up and down, almost grew like, I can't believe this happened. Someone cheated. I was ripped off from Psychus. Psychus is bullshit. Everything's bullshit. Run it. I win because cheating. Then the last group is Roberto Vance. I don't know what the fuck you're all talking about. What I say is, it's a wash. We shut the whole thing down, or we do a redo. Everyone get a new team. I don't know what the fuck we're playing this game. You realize his argument is the weakest, but his team just clearly lost. So for him, a redo or even neutral is a gain. So coming in, that's kind of the position that you would see. Only as the doors kind of open and shut, the whole group looks to you. And you just see the Vice Marshal say, good. Okay. They're here. So we could sort out the legalities of the victory. I don't know why we're all playing this game of who yells loudest wins the most. And you just see them all kind of look at her a little angry, but they don't really bother to argue with the Vice Marshal because they're not really equipped to do so. Mm-hmm. Inquisitor, you're here. You've been interfering in the governor's selection games. Why?
And I'll kind of narrow-eyed, thin smile at everyone in a vaguely unnerving, but like he's trying to be pleasant, but has no social grace, clearly, way, and to say, hi, Vice Marshal. Yeah. We received some, also the rest of you. Hi, hello, hi. Nero Abagnale, Inquisitor, on behalf of Inquisitor Billingberg. Look, we were sent here because we heard some upsetting reports about how far the excess of this planet had gone. And don't get me wrong, you know, you're all rich, you're all powerful, you're all well built. So I get it. But, you know, the Xenos down there, I had to see for myself if Xenos were being housed on this planet, which, as you know, is grounds for exterminatus, right? And, you know, the funny thing about Prom, it's such a great resource, you know, and we're always glad that planets can do it. But it saves the Inquisition and the Marines a lot of work. They don't need to plant bombs. It's kind of your planet is sort of a bomb, you know? And cyclonic torpedoes are just so effective suborbitally. So anyway, all this to say, we came here to make sure that nothing, no fuckery was afoot. And lo and behold, fuckery is most certainly afoot here on your fine Dominion Omnium Proto Hive. So we were not trying to make one person win or one person lose. I understand your frustrations. It was a hell of a game. We had a great time. Sister of Blood, you know, the crowd loved her. loves her. But here's the thing. Someone's got to pay for the Xenos. And I am here to make sure that the rest of these games go off without a hitch. Because I believe in democracy, God damn it. And the Emperor has sent me here to ram a bolter down the throat of anyone who would interfere with and or blaspheme on the way to power. Is that all right with you, Vice Marshal?
Well, that makes sense to me, I guess. Well, clearly, you're not going to carry out exterminatus on this world. We're feeding several crusades. You can't afford to lose the prom. I do believe the rest on the scale of things. What do you think about? Well, what? Here's the thing. You already executed Nero's Skullshield, so we don't got to worry about it. He was the one who brought the Xenos, he was running this event, and now he's gone. You've done great work on the scale of things. What I want to know is, who the fuck won the games? You have to explain. You interfere, you change the rules. I think because everyone cheated, it should be me.
Yeah, listen, an interesting argument, and I appreciate it. But as I said, I'm not here to throw the crown to someone. That's not really what we do. Also, to your point about the exterminators, I agree. It's a very, very valuable world. Here's the thing, though. As you've probably ascertained right now, I'm not a really well-liked motherfucker. So, if the Ordo Xenos got word, and I assure you they have, they're not really going to mind because it gets me out of their hair and it gets some Xenos out of their hair. And I got to tell you, the Dark Aeldari are they're a real problem. They're not they're not a bunch of orcs that you can just capture and bring here. There's something more afoot here. So listen, they would love nothing more than to blow this place up with me on it. Gets me out of their hair, gets Xenos out of their hair. It's a win all the way around. So let's just keep it Xenos free from here on out. Yeah. In terms of the games. So here's the thing. I took care of Skullshield. That's kind of what I do. But the governorship is a real problem here. So, and I'll turn to Gazzy and I'm like, I'm really sorry, sir, but there has to be a very public show of retribution against your house for this. You know what I mean? So I'm going to kind of need to execute your dad a little bit, in the name of democracy. Now, the good news is it means you'll get to be governor for a couple of days, which is honestly better than you could have expected. And what you're going to do for me is in penance for the crimes of your house is you're going to oversee these games. And I'm going to be right there over your shoulder, making sure everything goes all right. But to your, and I'm so sorry. We haven't met, sir. You who wants to win this round?
My name is Crongus Marcus, future governor of this world.
All right. Yeah. Crongus, some kind of governator type. That's good. It's good to meet you. It's good. And then my eye starts to twitch and like, Nero can't hold it together this long. And I'll just be like, and I'll say,
so what do you think you want to roll for selling them on the idea of governor execution? Because I think this is probably the point where someone would interrupt. I just don't know who or what they're going to say. So,
sorry, are you asking what? I glitched out for a second. What would I roll?
What skill do you think you would be using to influence the room to sell this kill the governor concept?
I mean, I think I rosette across the table and literally not ask, just say I'm going to do this thing. So I mean, I'm happy to take a role here. The problem is, like, again, I've got interrogation is my only real Inquisitor thing or forbidden lore. But also I'm not really asking. I'm just kind of saying I'm going to kill your governor. So it's kind of up to you. What do you think I need
Fair
from this?
Enough.
I mean, we could stick with cool. Cool makes sense.
Yeah, let's go with cool, because I think that's just your sheer kind of courage diving into the room. You will lose another strain because you're trying to influence house people. I will say this one would fall, I'm going to say difficulty 5, because you're selling we interfered with your game, so I have to execute your governor, which is not impossible, but definitely a tough sell for this room. 2 boost for the rosette. Nobody can argue with the rosette. That thing exists.
Cool. Ryan, would you say it is a new session? Would you say this is a new social combat encounter?
Yeah, I would.
Great. So a clever retort, I can add threat to an opponent's roll, but I'd be able to use that to remove setback and or add boost to my current roll.
I would let you remove setback. I would not say it would add boost, because I think being clever just because this is a very literal
No, I
threat
get that.
exchange.
That's fine. Cool. That's all I got. I would say I'll take a step back for in no way having communicated to anyone that a Xenos-related exterminatus needs to happen, nor would I.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's all I got. How are we doing on story points there, bud?
You've got 2, I've got 3.
Yeah, let's use one of those to add green. It always feels like such a waste to spend a story point and earn an extra green, but desperate times. Yeah, okay. I think that's good for me. So
what's our running total?
1 green, 2 yellow, 5 purple, 2 blue, 1 black.
Yeah, it feels right.
Yeah, right.
Cool.
2 threats.
Oof.
Not the worst.
Not the worst. Gazzy will be like, what? Just clearly playing fucked up, hoping somebody else will interrupt so he doesn't have to kind of argue with you. At which point Val the Decimus just hits a button and her chair just hovers a little higher, hitting that eye height that they've got new cool wheelchairs that stand up to that, where they talk about how that really can rebalance conversations in an interesting way. And she looks to you and says, well, that's not really going to fly in terms of the law. He's making the tithes, he's made the deliveries, and you decided to interfere with his game. So I hate to say it, but it seems like you're overreaching. And she takes out the rosette and plugs it into the chair. And then she looks at it for a second and says, Interrogator, and clearly puts together that you are not the Inquisitor, but you're still on the team. Just she doesn't believe in your legal rights to make the exterminatus.
And I'll just shrug and say, look, as I said, I'm not well liked.
Fair enough. So here's... I'd like to make this call myself. I really, really would. But when it comes to the law of the Inquisition, I'm not the most knowledgeable, nor can I, as an Arbites, enforce anything upon the Inquisition, which I fully understand, she says angrily to the whole room, aware that they're all probably thinking of trying to muscle on you. And she says, which is why, before this all happened, I sent word to the Officio Inquisitorius of this proto-hive, who sent the highest-ranking representative within, what the fuck is the name of this? Within this system. I'm not going to say the name. You all know it.
We surely do. We wouldn't say it either.
An Annis Umbra? Nah, fuck it.
No, don't bother. We wouldn't say it either.
And luckily, my timing is pretty good. And she gestures over to the door, which opens, and a very short man, probably like 4'2", comes in. He is bald. He is rotund. He's wearing a gray uniform that's a little awkward fitting, tied in with a bronze sash. The buttons themselves are the same gray as the rest of the outfit. He's wearing thick black goggles that are tightened around his skull. When you're thinking of the appearance, he's somewhere between Dr. Octopus meeting the mad scientist from Despicable Me.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Just comes in, punched, enters and says, it is a pleasure to be here. Piper, you are like the rest of you instinctively don't like this guy. Piper, his presence is painful when he comes through the door, and you realize that this is a blank or an untouchable.
Yeah. I think I like under my breath, I just like mutter like fucking blunters.
Yeah. Can I get a perception from everybody else against a difficulty of, I'm going to say, Nero, I'm going to give you a 2 because I think you have experienced this kind of stuff before in Inquisitorial training. Mina, I'm going to say 3 because I think you would know something that's wrong with someone's soul. And I'm actually going to give this one to you for free, Warden. You're aware because you've dealt with the Sisters of Silence and other psycho-controlling organizations. So you've been in blunt fields before. So you know he's a blank. It's if the other two know it without having to be told.
Did you say perception?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Piper would like just immediately walk to the table and get a glow stick and light it up.
Great. So you're smoking at the bar.
Yeah.
Mina got 1 threat.
Okay, Mina doesn't know. Nero?
Sorry, I was glitching out, so I didn't hear it. I actually don't know that I would roll on this because I've been holding it together as best I can. And I think at this point, not talking about Horus is really taking all I got. So I think I'm glowering and I'm feeling uncomfortable, but I'm actually just not sure if that's me or him.
All right, so Invictus will enter. Piper, he's a blank, which you don't care for. Warden, This is probably interesting. You've worked with them before and find them to be highly useful. What you would know, Mina, you have no clue. You just kind of don't like this guy because he seems creepy. Nero is having a breakdown. But Warden, you would know that like these people are generally useful. They're immune to psyker powers. Like if a psyker throws fire at them, it just doesn't affect them. And if they get close to psykers, they can actually negate their abilities. They're more effective than the limiting callers or other things that can kind of shut psykers down. But Invictus comes in and is just like, all right, it is time for me to sort out the legalities of this complicated situation. Interrogator Abagnale, a pleasure to meet you. I've heard great things about Barthas Billingberg.
Yeah, he's great. He's great, and I'm sure you are too. I'll like reach out to shake his hand, which I don't know I suspect isn't really a tradition necessarily, but Nero just kind of does it by rote. And I kind of looks at his hand, Invictus, and is just like,
Yeah, I think the Invictus will reach out and clasp your forearm in the old school Roman warrior way, and be like, yes, excellent, another friend of the Inquisition. So I understand that he has participated in these games. Has he declared his intent? And Valdedesimus is like, yes, he would like to execute the governor as punishment for his interference in the games. Well, that would be legally complicated and challenging. Not altogether impossible. Nothing is in the Inquisition. But we face the games, and he gestures over to Gazzy, who awkwardly and unpleasantly is like, oh, I don't want to. Fine, I have to touch him. And he walks over and just gives him a slate. And it's clear all the house leaders just despise Invictus. Again, as a blank, it's impossible to make friends. They don't have souls, so they make everyone uncomfortable. And he's like, I see. You, Interrogator Abagnale, have been logged as his official team for all 3 events. You are the Inquisition, but he is not legally allowed to enter more, and support of the system is one of the Officio Inquisitorius' greatest goals. So, well, you're not going to like this answer, but it's what I have for you. You must decide who was the winner of this game, for you are the one who broke the rules. And then, for the rest of this competition, you unfortunately will be forced to represent House Cologne in the next 2 games because they cannot replace you with another team at this time. At the end of which, if you decide we must destroy this world, I will get it rubber stamped by Barthas Billingberg and death to this world.
and I'll just again and say, so you're just fine with the Xenos? They just have Xenos and that's fine?
Well, there are certain contracts for rogue traders that are possible. I don't care for them, but if you look at the history of what we've punished with Exterminatus for, a surprising number of worlds have trafficked in a small number of orcs, followed by certain flame treatments and other things. So what I'm saying is, Exterminatus, once I know the system governor, and I don't know, wipe it the fuck out.
Yeah. All right. Can you excuse me for just 1 second? I'm going to get a drink. And I'll go over to one of the megalomaniacal bars. Ryan, is there a Vicodin by any chance?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right, so I'll grab a bottle of Vicodin and I'll crack the top. And I'll just look at it for an unnecessarily long time. And then as I'm pouring it, just kind of look up and smile and be like, you ever meet this guy? He's great. He's great. Really, I mean, incredible taste. He can tell you anything. Yeah, he's a great conversationalist. Yeah, and I'll just fill it to the brim and then put the bottle down and just say, okay, so we're picking the winner of these games, huh? And then we're going to have to continue to play them. Is that what we're getting here?
That would be the approximate idea. This should be something that the public will approve of, though. So, you, sister, the crowd likes you. And he just snaps a finger and a servo skull flies in, just a little puttering skull with a camera in its eye. He gestures over to Mina, and the camera swoops around and kind of gets a nice close-up, an awkward close-up of Mina's face. And he's like, Sister of Blood, you're on live. Why don't you tell us who won the games?
For one thing, Mina looks like an absolute horror show because she is covered in blood from multiple Xenos and people, Seth and the other guy. She is so tired. She is just exhausted and has been standing next to Warden to just be in the background, and then this happens. And she just takes the deepest, longest sigh, and she's like, "Of course, Nero Abagnale won this round of the tournament. Did you not see it with your own eyes?"
I'll just raise my glass like I'm in fucking The Great Gatsby from the bar with a trembling hand, because this is not how I wanted this to go.
From the personal notes of Fabius Bile. There will be no place for me in the paradise to come, but until then I persist, until my work is done. And just like Fabius Bile, you are not going to have any friends when you're done here, because Mina just declared her own team the victor of day one of the games, which gives day one to House Cologne. So as uproar bursts out around the Aquila table with its awkward gold-plated nachos, Invictus just gestures and the feed is clearly cut so they don't hear the rest of the freakouts. Over the various voices yelling, you can just hear Gazzy go, "I knew it! I knew I was the best! All of you should get Inquisitors, idiots!" And everyone else is just livid. And then the first person to kind of snap out of it is Lucia Bain, who's like, "Oh, there's only... Oh, shit. Too many dialects!" It's a pleasure to have to celebrate a true victor. The rest of you would imagine Lucia Bain is just the sharpest person, like the sharpest tool in the box, because she's realized Gazzy won't become governor, so this is essentially a wash.
Yeah.
So for her, it's better than everyone being declared a loser, because she was still, quote-unquote, second place. And in the eyes of the people who she cares about, clearly she was the winner who got taken over by an Inquisitor, so she'll probably have some good speeches later. She's like, "So one thing I'd like to offer is, now that we know the Inquisition is on world and undoubtedly have their own building, I'd like to volunteer some of my personal household troops to ensure that they are not attacked when they arrive back at their hotel." Krungus off the side,
I agree, I'll send my own troops. I'll send a whole bunch of troops to keep you safe.
I don't know about the rest of you, but I've got the best troops, so I like to send more troops to make sure their building's safe too. Everyone has got to give you some friends. It's just Gazzy yelling from the back of the table. At which point, the doors to the room open yet again. And everyone looks, because no one introduced this party. And when you look back, you see Ignatius Ironforth hovering forwards with Seth beside him with a cane, with his chest plate kind of crudely welded back together. Tyler, for yourself, just so you'll know, Seth now has 2 health points, because we're splitting the difference between Resuscitrix and a day's rest. And you have augmetic lungs. So both of your lungs have been replaced. I will also say you only have 2 strain remaining. They took almost all of your physical toll of strain to be able to be back up and functional. And the last thing I will note, because your augmetics have pushed you over your brawn number now, because your brawn is 1. You will also, in this case, I'm going to have this, you will lose 2 from your strain threshold permanently. Okay. So whatever your strain was, I cannot remember, 11, 12?
14. So we're down
14,
to 12.
so it'll be 12 now. And you currently have 2 wounds and 2 strain.
Okay, and sorry, the way I think of like threshold is like does that mean that I have 10 strain and I have only 2 more to go before I hit my threshold of 12?
Yes, if you are adding up to it, then you have 10 strain currently, and if your wounds are 10, then you have 8.
I've got 8 out of 10, yeah. Okay.
8 out of 10 have been used up, yes.
Yeah, okay.
So you're hurting, but you are up and about, and able to kind of participate in this. I think, Seth, when you walk into the room, what's everybody's reaction to seeing Seth up and about so relatively quickly? You get the feeling there must be an elevator, because otherwise he doesn't look like he can handle a lot of stairs.
Piper is just like, "Oh, thank the Emperor," like, as she like looks to Nero kind of glaringly.
Nero is like half face deep in this tumbler that he had poured to the top. And after doing his Gatsby cheers, fireworks went off behind him in his own mind. He's just been quietly, kind of conspiratorially drinking from it, and like doesn't seem to want to come out of that glass. He's now on camera, like a bunch of things have happened. So I think it's just kind of like he kind of like looks up and kind of nods at you, but is still just like slowly sipping this straight liquor kind of back while hiding in the glass. He also looks very rough. I will say I'm at 3 strain. So like, I'm not actually that much more awake than our boy Seth. Yeah, so just, and like when you look at me, I'll just dart my eyes over. Again, he's just definitely doing like a weird Howard Hughes in the corner thing. So just like a quick glare at you and then just kind of back to his drink.
Yeah, Mina is like, she is at 4 strain. So she's in the same boat of like, if she tried to parry one more thing, she'd be unconscious. But she definitely like looks a little bit less tense when he shows up, because even in her mind she was thinking maybe I should have stayed down there, like maybe they're gonna kill him, so she was concerned about that. But I think as she's visibly relaxing a little bit, she gets a little like glassy eyed because she's just so overwhelmed and like too many emotions like all at the same time, but she's like keeping her face in check, but she's kind of like, yeah.
Seth, there is a moment of silence as you walk into the room. You see the party react to you. Warden, I think, looks at you and gives you a curt nod, but you do not know what that means. Can you roll me a perception at difficulty 4?
Ooh.
Perception. And let me make sure.
It would be visually based for your memory, so if your eyes give you anything.
I was going to say +2 boost to aspects.
Yeah, I would add that.
Nice.
Okay. All right. I have my pool.
Let's see what you got.
2 successes.
You know Warden shot you.
All right. We talked about this a little bit off air, but because of Seth's glassy sort of black globes that he has for eyes, I don't think anyone can tell who he's looking at or where he's at emotionally. He just sucks in a new breath as he is acclimatizing to his new life. So I think just congratulations to the winner. I'm assuming he heard this news as it was broadcast throughout the arena, and he will hobble over with the cane to pour himself a drink.
I like clutch the bottle closer to me, but like nod at you and then kind of nod at the wall.
All right, so in the latest debate, it appears you are, shall we say, a decisive voice for this party. The various houses would like to send troops to guard your structure where you rest. What is your opinion, new friend of the Interrogator?
I'll just lean over and be like, yeah, he outranks us inquisitorially. I think we kind of have to play by his tune. Oh, also, I told everyone we're here now. I'll just take a drink.
Yeah. And then
welcome back.
All the losers want to escort us home.
Yes, then we'll protect you while you're there.
Protect us from whom?
Well, you never know what's going to happen with the populace, eh? Plus the Skullshields, you know, Nero's daughter Jacinta's up top. I mean, she's loyal. I ain't saying nothing bad because she makes us all a lot of money, but, you know, tempers flare when your dad gets murdered on TV.
By his own Eldar. We didn't murder her dad. His pet, Xenos, did. So just keep that. Let's keep that. Let's just keep that. Just keep that. Let's just keep that, and then I'll just go back to drinking.
Yeah. Seth, acutely aware that perspective was provided by the man who grappling hooked him into the arena.
Where's the lie, Seth? Where's the lie?
Seth, could you roll me a Streetwise at difficulty 2?
Streetwise. Okay, so that's the same. Okay, no boost this time. 2 successes, 4 advantages.
Great. I'm just going to give you good info for that. Basically, you get the idea that with all of them protecting you, it means they all could pass you messages, but they also all can watch what you're doing at your building. It's clearly a, like, if we're the security guards at the front door, we know when you leave, and it makes it easier to tail. You're also aware that they'll probably just buy neighboring hotels to do this, but there are advantages and disadvantages to having them in the building.
Yeah.
I will also say, because you rolled the advantage, if you wanted to, on terms of negotiation, right now it seems like your house staff of, oh shit, what's her friggin' name?
I got it.
Eve Nuln.
Eve
Nuln, who's your internal staff. She wasn't aware you were the Inquisition, so she's probably relatively unbribable. So you could accept security outside of the building. There's those kind of things. But if you wanted to keep yourself relatively secure, keeping the staff on from when you were before announced is the Inquisition is probably the safest bet on an ongoing basis.
Okay. I think he raises a glass and says, why not? Thank you for the gracious gesture. And he'll down a glass of very, very like high quality. Well, I guess it's called Amasec. Just like something really, really nice. Because just to treat himself, for coming out the other end of this thing so far.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Shared security is the next possibility. Now, I believe we've made the important decisions. They'll be competing in the heist tomorrow. And it is only fair that each of you has a chance to speak with the Inquisition beforehand. I will make my legalities clear. This Inquisitor will have the right to speak to anyone in any of the houses with the full Inquisitorial authority, except if what is being discussed weighs upon the games, for they are competing and shall maintain the integrity of the event.
I think, Nero, all of you are aware of this. You're kind of fucked. This is not a great rule, because they could just be like, I don't know, it's the games, and you're not allowed to look anymore.
Yeah.
You also, who's going to enforce if you're out there in the wild doing things? Like, it just means you'll have to be shady in a different way if you want to go around the rules.
Yeah.
Look, all of us not getting iced was pretty much Nero's only play here. So he's fine with this amount of fucked over. This is, he didn't eat a face full of shatter shot from a fucking Dark Aeldari, so he's feeling pretty good about it, all in all.
Great. Invictus gives everyone a nod and says,
All right, so each of you can speak with someone from the Inquisition team if you want, now that there's no more secrets. And I will ride with them to their building to make sure all Inquisitorial business has been taken care of. But first I will speak with this interrogator.
and Invictus just stalks over an incredibly dislikable, small, weird man. Meanwhile, other members of kind of the entourage engage with the group pretty quickly, and you can kind of see who's heading to each person. Lucia Bane immediately crosses to Seth, where he's standing at the bar. Krungus Marcus circles in on Mina. Piper, Roberto Vance closes in on you. It appears that Gazzy might be moving to talk to Warden, but then he passes out. Just stone cold, walks forward, eyes shut, falls down. No one comments and no one does anything. It's so common. They just leave him on the floor. And Valda just grabs over him. And basically she leaves with Bo-Katan to make sure that things are relatively calm elsewhere. Lorion Vase, who is very unhappy as the guild mistress that this was not declared a tie where they would have got to keep the most money, storms out, and Pettis remains in the shadows. But Lucia Bane approaches Seth first. Imagine these all happening in separate areas. People can't overhear the other conversations, so they're very kind of one-on-one unless people actively leave one to join another. But all right, so you promised that I would come in first place and that you would come in second place, but then you won. But it was kind of a shitfest. So what the fuck happened?
Seth fixes himself another drink and basically explains the sequence of events to Lucia Bane, saying that in order to insert ourselves into the arena, we had to make a deal with one Nero Skullshield. We allowed him to place... We brokered a bet with him, knowing that there was a desired outcome between two of the houses. When, I'm sorry to say, your men were soundly beaten in the second round, with the other two houses still performing quite well, I had to improvise. It was clear that you were not going to win out. And so I placed the bet on us to win. I knew that I would have to explain to you that us winning counts as a win for you, because you secretly have the governor's support. And now, if I can get this substantial payout, I'm prepared to smooth things over with a little political financing.
So you're telling me because Nero's dead, I can pick up all the profit from his bet?
That's not what I'm telling you. I'm telling you I placed the bet in his name, and that I may have a right to claim that bet.
All right, let's go with a skullduggery, because I think this is the act of a shady deal.
Mm-hmm.
It will be difficulty 4.
Okay.
She got some good stats. It does cost you 1 strain to even roll a social check against.
Yep. Thank you for reminding
the lady.
me.
So that will take you down to 1.
Shit.
I will give you 2 boost because you have been established as Inquisition in this room, so it's not like she can bring any physical weight to bear, which might be a strategy for her otherwise, because this is very much to look at it if you did not have the scale of the environment. You look like a 12-year-old talking to an adult. But that's the setup.
I'm giving myself a setback for etiquette, I'm assuming.
Yeah, definitely.
This she's high status, elite enough that, she would.
And I'm going to give you another setback for just not quite landing the deal and betting on yourself, because she's not somebody who's used to I fucked up so you get some. She's definitely used to I fucked up so you get everything. I will use a story point to boost one of these. You do have a story point if you want to use one in return.
Yeah, I'd like to do the same. I think Seth is keen to maintain this relationship. Only because he, again, hearing that she's this great candidate, the only real choice for a stable society, she seems like the perfect sleeper agent for these homo novas.
Yeah. And Seth doesn't know about the genetics results.
Yeah, and that's still the mission as far as Seth knows. So yeah,
great. Yeah, let's see what you roll then.
Okay. 5 advantages, 4 failures, 1 despair.
Oh!
I gotta come off mute just to vocalize what my face is saying for those of you listening at home. It's a lot of ooh.
Yeah. I don't know what 5 advantages is going to get me in the face of 4 failures and a despair.
You can notice an important detail, like a switch that opens a door, or an
as
important
she collapses
keypad.
my windpipe with her fingers.
Yes, but according to Genesys, you can notice those things.
Just fix that.
I'm sorry, she says as she leans down closer to you. I don't think you entirely understood. This isn't a negotiation. I'm making up 1/3 of the bodyguards defending your little fortress. So here's the deal. I take all of the money you're going to win. I'm owed a favour in the future, and then you can celebrate me as the governor, because I'm going to call that favour in to actually win when you promise me I'm going to win.
And Seth says, again, sort of with like inscrutable eyes, but I don't think he can hide the fact that he's sweating. We'll ask a question, and then to kind of fill the silence, take a big gulp of his drink. He'll just say, "And if I refuse?" And just a big drink.
Well, I would just say, at some point, I'm going to give you a big old hug. And she just leans forward and picks up a glass herself, and you see her flex every muscle in her chest, shoulders, and arms, and you realize exactly how fragile your torso is. It's an incredibly subtle threat for someone of her size, but it's very clear what it means.
I choke and sputter on my drink, and flecks of expensive brandy dance like across her like chest, her cloak. What is she wearing exactly? Like armor?
This is the massive Billy Porter dress. So
Right, okay.
it's
Yes.
her house is blue. She's got a fly. It's like Lady Dimitrescu, just a giant blue
Okay.
Lady Dimitrescu if she was a power lifter.
Okay. Yeah, I sputter a drink across her dress just because like I am completely dominated here. And I say, understood. I'm very sorry. And I reach for a napkin, and I would like to, I would like to palm. Actually, let me ask this first. Did I get all of my equipment back when I was brought up here?
Yeah, it was on you, so they wouldn't have taken anything away. You hadn't drawn any of your weapons, so they'd still be holstered.
I would like to palm my tracking device and my picked fly.
Yep.
And as I basically clumsily try to towel down this drink that I've spat on her, basically reverse pickpocket a tracking device and a remote microphone onto her person.
Okay, let's do a skullduggery then.
I mean, Tyler, this might be a place to spend 5 advantage.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
All right.
Oh, I'm so nervous.
So your difficulty will be 3
Okay.
because that's her cunning score. So it makes it easy to just set things as kind of the opposite because it's cunning based.
Okay.
And because this is directly opposed, I will 2 of those die are upgraded because I'm just using her perception as the opposition towards your skullduggery.
Okay.
I will give you 2 boost because she has scared the shit out of you and is aware that she has scared the shit out of you, so she knows she's got you on the back foot. But I will also throw in 1 setback because she does not want to be touched and will be innately more worried about that kind of contact because this isn't like a low-down hive thing. You spilled on a millionaire at the Met Gala and then you tried to touch them with a napkin.
Yeah. I'd like to spend a story point if I have any.
Yes, you have 1.
Okay.
And I will spend 1 as well because I think this is a high-stakes interaction for both of you where you're both on guard.
Yeah. All right. Cool. 3 reds are my difficulty dice. No purples. Plus the setback. Okay.
Oh,
I'm ready to
Lord.
roll.
Let's see what happens.
Oh my god.
3 successes, 3 advantages.
All right, you managed to drop them both. You get them snuck into the folds of the dress. It's the bottom is very swishy, so there's a lot of folding over on itself. Your pick fly and tracking device are both also designed to do this, so they would hold on. I will say your tracking device is stealthy enough that it changes color to whatever it's slapped onto, so it'll match the dress. And the fly is fly-sized, so for someone of that scale, she'd have to be actively looking for it to have been discovered.
Yeah. My thinking here as well is the picked fly can fly. However, it's audible. It's like the buzzing of a fly. So my hope is in planting it on a person, that's no longer an issue. It's just stationary on this person's clothing.
Yep.
Okay.
And then she produces. She's like, "Don't touch me. I don't like this. I have people for this."
Yes, of course. I'm very sorry. I will.
Don't worry. What you'll do is pay for the dry
money.
cleaning. You're going to pay for the dry cleaning. And she takes out a data slate hidden in her bodice that you hadn't seen and holds it out to you. and you realize it's just guaranteeing the amount of money. So this is signing the transfer so she can go over and basically make the 200 million thrones disappear.
I sign it. She's got me in a corner, and yeah.
It's wonderful doing business with you. I'm really looking forward to the favor you can do me in the future. So be careful and mash it out, or bad things are going to happen to someone. I'd never threaten the Inquisition. Just bad things happen abstractly. And then she just walks right over to Perez, and you see Perez smile as she approaches in hopes of the money, and then she shows him the thing, and you just watch his gross face just fall like a thundercloud as he realizes the money has disappeared. So you are left drinking, scared, and knowing you owe the leader of a house, or at least the selected for this competition leader of the house, because they're all adoptees, they're not the house leaders initially, owe her a favor. Meanwhile, over with Mina, Crungus Marcus has approached you in his large green dress and floppy hat, just flexing like crazy. You get the feeling if flexing was a workout, Crungus Marcus would never have to pick up a weight just because the muscles are in constant use. He reaches over the table and just scoops up, I would say, a full plate worth of nachos in one hand and just shoves them entirely in his mouth. So he's wearing a bit of them. He reaches down and smears his hand down his dress, which first just seems kind of disgusting and crude, but you realize it's actually a statement of incredible wealth, because this outfit definitely costs as much as someone's house, and he has torched it in eating something. And then he's like, all right, so you fight good, I fight good. What do you think if we rig this so I become governor?
Mina was while he was approaching, she was watching the two boys drinking because she's just concerned about everything. And it's only once he is like in front of her and talking to her that she like even pays attention to him and looks at him. And she just looks him like straight in the eye, like not caring that he is so much bigger than her or anything like that. And she's just like, excuse me, are you talking to me? Why are you talking to me?
Because the little man I don't like told me I could talk to you, and I want us both to be rich and powerful.
And then he looks at your iconography.
For the Emperor, whatever.
I am already rich in my faith in the Emperor and the Inquisition, and I do not wish to speak with you further. If you have a question, I suppose I am bound to answer it, but no.
Can you roll me a coercion?
A coercion?
No.
Can't it be charm, Ryan?
I don't think you tried to charm him. I would have to take your charm dice and make those the difficulty, and you get to roll nothing. It'll just be double difficult.
All right. Here's my coercion. It's 2 green.
Great. I think your difficulty is going to be 4, because you're trying to threaten the muscle moron.
Oh,
Great.
God.
I will give you a bonus for the blood that you're wearing.
All right.
And a second bonus for the fact that you do have your full armament, and as far as you know, he is unarmed. I will give you 1 setback because he has a certain amount of ego that would not take this terribly well.
All right. Let's see if I have to fist fight this man. All right. So I've got 2 green, 4 purple, 2 blue, 1 black.
You have 1 story point if you want to spend it.
Oh, it's too late. I rolled. I got the Seth roll. 2 advantages, 4 failures.
All right, I just want to give money to the church or whatever, but most importantly, I want to be governor. How do I get you to make me governor? If you don't help me, I can make problems. You seem tough, but your friend's a little squishy. I'd hate if during the games you made it out, but the crazy one didn't.
Now she's glaring. Oh boy. I don't think it is wise to threaten a member of the Inquisition. Perhaps you could become governor if you go home and pray very, very hard one day. Perhaps.
Yeah, that's not how this works. That's not how anything works. Do you think that man is governor because he prays hard and his son's so great?
He just points to Gazzy, who is unconscious on the floor with no one touching him.
Does he pray a lot? Is that what you're telling me? Because I cry bullshit.
Sometimes the Emperor works in mysterious ways that are beyond our understanding, which lead us to be in places that are not grand and that are not very fun, but we do them anyway because we have faith.
Yes, but they are telling me, that the Emperor helps those who help themselves. And right now I'm trying to help myself.
I see that. Would it help you if I were to take a note and perhaps talk to someone else about this situation of yours?
I think it would help me the most if you help me.
If I take a note.
How can we set up like a behind-the-scenes communique? Can you promise to help me in one of these matches? Is there some way I can help you?
And you realize, like, he's probably the most eager and kind of dumbest of the house leaders. Mm-hmm. It does not make him harmless in any way. It probably makes him more dangerous in a certain number of arenas, but he is the most probably easily manipulated of any of them.
Mm-hmm. She takes a deep sigh. And she's like, well, I mean, perhaps if your warriors do a very good job of protecting us, then we will look favorably upon you or something. Can you stop talking to me?
So this is a quid pro quo. You're telling me if no one harms you at your hotel, then you'll make me the governor?
I am not saying that or giving you any promises, but I will put it into consideration. Do you know what that means?
Can you roll I'm going to go with a charm on this one, because I feel like this is charming
condescension check.
This is not her finest moment.
I mean, it is charming in that it's guileless. She is legitimately just telling him what she can do for him, and she wants the best for him in her own way.
Difficulty will be 3. One setback because technically you didn't promise anything, but I will also give you a boost because this is probably how most people would promise something among the houses, which is, I'm not promising you this, but if it happens, I'll think about it, is like the rich people equivalent of like, now we have a verbal contract.
Yes. And
not that you do it on purpose, but it'll affect him.
And are you loyal? Is he a loyalist for my boost to loyalist?
I don't think that's going to help you with this. He's clearly not that religious.
All right. Worth a shot. All right. I don't really want to use a story point for this, but
here's the rule. Just use a story point whenever you want. They're only fun if they're in play.
Yeah.
It's
how many are there left?
There's 1, so go for it. Let's make this interesting.
All right. Let's just do it.
It is literally written into the Genesys rules where they're like, please use story points. Please use them as much as possible. The whole system rests on them.
All right. So what I've got is 1 green, 2 yellow, 3 purple, 1 blue, 1 black.
Let's see what happens.
Okay. 1 failure. Oh, this is the worst person to talk to.
I'm aware that you think I'm stupid. A lot of people think I'm stupid, and that's why they're dead, and I'm in charge of this whole thing trying to become governor. You know, and I know I'm not leaving until I get promised something that you should deliver. What are you going to do?
And due to your series of failures, Mina, I am going to say, just to get out of this conversation, because you know you cannot afford to make an enemy, you need to promise him something.
Oh, brother. Oh, God. Do I even... okay, hold on. I'm trying to think of what she could even...
Can you roll me... what's higher for you, intellect or cunning?
Intellect.
Okay, let's do an intellect, and let's do a skullduggery. I know, I probably guess you probably don't have points in it, but it's still going to be the thing that seems the most appropriate here.
Correct.
Difficulty 2, because I don't think this is going to be tremendously hard for you. 1 boost, because you've been in these kind of situations before, and 1 setback, because your Mina tends to freeze up in these moments as opposed to perform superlatively well.
Yes, correct. All right.
So let's see what you get.
2 success, 2 advantages.
Great. You could, on a scale of things that he would probably find useful, you could promise to give him information on another house during something. Like if you discover the team for the heist, or if you discover somebody's plans for the running, you could deliver that, and that might be enough to be like giving him an edge if he's got a favored opponent. You could offer to trade information where you're like, I'll tell you something and you tell me something before each game to try to score something for the team. It really just comes down to that. But those are probably the most obvious options to you that kind of don't hurt you because you could choose who you rat. And you do know that theoretically what the party has agreed to so far is trying to help House Bane win. So you would probably want to rat on Vance. There's your second success.
That makes sense. Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
So she will deeply sigh and say, well, I may not have it currently, but I could get you information about another one of the clans if that would help you in your future battles. Is that sufficient of a promise?
I think it is. I think that's very good for both of us. And I think when I'm governor, I will get you a nice hat.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Nice to meet you. Now you bow and go away.
She does not want to do. She is okay. Yeah, she'll still do it. She will stand there like it's the longest pause ever.
That's
and
fucked up.
And then grit her teeth and make a tiny head bow and stomp off, like stomping.
That's fucked up that he approached you and at the end of the conversation he told you to go away. Man, I hate that guy now.
Yeah.
As you stomp off, you just hear him mutter to himself,
she bows like my little brother does.
and then he's back to smearing nachos all over himself. We cut over to the bar where you, Piper, are smoking while Warden seems to eye you vaguely disapprovingly, but not too intensely. It's not entirely clear in 40k lore whether low sticks are traditional cigarettes or whether they are weed. Usually the drugs are pretty clear, but they seem to alternate depending on the novel. So
look,
I guess smoker's
choice. I get to recover one strain with a low stick every 24 hours.
I am going to say
it's got to be weedish.
Yeah. We'll push it into the medicinal marijuana category because that feels right to me. The person approaching you is Roberto Vance. So again, in the same kind of Dimitrescu big floppy black hat, the black dress, there's something incredibly somber about it. Wearing like perfectly round sunglasses that are approaching goggles, flowing black hair, just almost down to his waist, like picture death metal, and pale to the point of, if it weren't for the darkness of the goggles and the hair, you would almost believe it albinoid in terms of the tone. Looking like just a classic creature of the night. Approaching again, much, much bigger than you. He's like,
it's nice to meet you. So I understand that you may be the, shall we say, psychically gifted one of your little party.
I'm kind of like shaken out of like my reverie because I've been like just staring daggers at Invictus because I just want him. Is he gone? Is he still here?
Invictus is still there. He's just kind of standing around.
I would love him
near the door
to get the fuck out of here. So I kind of like shake myself. Like, yes, why?
So one thing I was wondering,
and he takes out a low stick of his own, but it's basically the size of your forearm because he's so big and his system filters so many things out. You get the sense he might need to smoke that just to feel anything, and he just starts lighting it up and kind of toking as he talks.
So knowing that, let's just say Marcus had himself a bad old day in the arena, and there may have been a psyker involved, and you just won. Was that you?
I'm sorry. You think a psyker was involved because like your men fought shittily?
No. That was Marcus with the pro fighters, wasn't it?
Oh, I wasn't really paying attention to who won or who lost or what was going on. I was paying more attention to what was happening to like my people. Obviously.
Well, someone blinded an old team of fighters and an orc, which was pretty fun watching him go down at the end. And I'm wondering if this was you, because that means you something special as opposed to the rest of these kind of forgettable, normals.
Yeah, I'm not really like interested in like interfering with shit. I'm here to do like the Inquisitor's work, like. So I'm not quite sure what you're trying to get out of me, but like. I'm not interested.
Oh. Okay. And in terms of your social skills, Piper, obviously you're brushing him off. Where do you think this falls on the skill you're using to kind of do so?
I do think it's a little. I do think it's a little bit coercion-y, only because I think she always uses a little push of her mind when she's real, like in social situations that she like really doesn't, when she wants to like shut things down.
Okay. All right. So let's go with
like she's not like putting images into his mind or anything. It's like literally like, you know, the slightest nudge, which is why I would say coercion.
I'm going to say difficulty 3 instead of difficulty 4, because if you're putting a little bit of a nudge behind it, it's there. But I'm going to upgrade one of those for free, because I think there's the Psyker influence there. It's a little Calvin Bally on Psyker rules. No risk of perils on this at all, just to be clear.
Okay.
Because this is very, very low grade, low risk psych stuff.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you... I'm going to upgrade a second die against you because of his perception skills. He'd be more trained than the average person, and if he was doing high level negotiations, and obviously all the house leaders would, it's a classic rogue trader or anyone trick to be like, put a psyker in the party, all of a sudden you get a better deal. So I think he would have some experience of fending it off, if not spotting it. Other than that, I'm kind of good, I think, on the die roll from my end.
I don't think I can really justify a story point.
Don't have one anyways.
Oh, really? I thought... Oh,
nope.
okay.
You've been using them.
So you really can't justify it.
I totally can't. I guess I'm rolling.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Oh man, not great today. 1 failure, 1 threat.
So
things have been going so well with the dice up to this point, you know, like...
I'll be honest, the house rulers have some really nasty social rules anyway.
Yeah,
so
no, that's fair.
This will not be shocking when you deal with them on an ongoing social basis. And he's smart, and he's like, all right, so I understand what you're trying to do. But right now you're treating me like some guy at a bar that you don't want to talk to. And that little bastard, he's the one who told me I could.
As he says that, I'm like looking around, like obviously, like, I mean, quote, looking around, like turning my head, like we're in a bar, like I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah, and he's just pointing at Invictus, and he's like, and you could see certain members of certain houses are talking to everyone in your old party, which means you're the one I talk to, which means I need to get some value out of this conversation, because that's how these little trades work. And my people are going to be 1/3 of the group that's guarding your people. So I want to make sure that you're nice and safe. So how about we have a chat and you open up a little bit and we both bond and find some mutually beneficial profit here.
Yeah, sure. That's perfect. Let's talk. What you got to say?
Are you the one who made everyone blind?
Again, no.
All right, let's skip past this. I know you're the one who made everyone blind.
Well, why didn't you just say that? Like, it would save a lot of time and energy.
These kind of conversations are meant to be a dance, but clearly you don't... I'd say you have 2 left feet, but right now you're kind of like him. And he just points to Ignatius, who's floating with no feet. And he's like, when you dance with that one, you're just swinging him around like a wrecking ball, which can be fun, but also a problem. Here's the deal. I'm going to need you to help me fucking make another team blind at some point in the future so that I can become the governor. That's what I want.
All right. So what do I get out of it?
Well, I don't tell Marcus that you're the one who made his fighters blind, and then he doesn't try to do something bad to you. You know, it's a quid pro quo in that you don't die and I get what I want. Everyone's happy.
So you just want me to make someone blind at some point?
That would be wonderful, yes.
All right. I mean, I can do that. Like, as long as I mean, look, here's the thing. It may come to a point where, like, you ask me to do something, and it's like, literally, if I, like, open up my mind, it's like, it could tear, like, you know, I don't know, something like basically a tear in, like, reality and stuff, and, like, let the warp come in. So, like, I'm obviously not going to do that, because then, like, I would die, you would die, like, everyone around us would die. But, like, otherwise, sure, I don't care, whatever.
All right. I'm going to hold you to that, but I like it. So if it won't destroy you, me, and a warp, and you'll do it. That's all I need. That's a nice little promise. You know what? I like you. Not a lot, but
You're useful, so that gets you like a 2 out of 10.
I don't care.
I know, and that's part of your charm. I hope this works out. The world would be a less aggressive, belligerent place without you.
And then he just turns and he walks off. So clearly, on the overall leader scale, slightly less shitty than Krunkus. But he received his promise. I'm just going to make it on my sheet. Promise of blindness. And last but not least, over at the bar where Nero has been nervously drinking, Invictus comes over and approaches. In the reverse of the conversation everyone else has been having, where they've had to look up at people, Invictus has to look up at Nero. And he's like,
Yes, so it is a pleasure to see you, Interrogator. I've read in your file.
and he goes on to try to say chummy things to you, which A, he's bad at to begin with, but B, he's referencing things that you don't remember. Because you've got your background, and I don't want to fill that in entirely for you, Tom, because it lives in that Nero world. But I would say he probably brings up 2 instances that you can tell us that you have no recollection of whatsoever.
Yeah, sure.
It would be in your official file. It wouldn't be like he would know about necessarily the conspiracy you were involved in, but something reported.
Okay. So I think one was the interrogation of a particularly hardy rogue trader, and this guy had they'd pretty much just decided to kill him at this point.
We will say his name was Gargarius Feroc the Seventh.
Gargarius Feroc the Seventh.
You can just call him Gargarius. We'll buy in on that.
You can't give me a Feroc the Seventh and have me not use it. So Gargarius Feroc the Seventh. He'd been running a sort of a black market weapons op for a long time, which is a real problem in the 40K universe because they can only manufacture so much, and there are only blueprints for so much. But he'd found one of the most valued items of the Mechanicus, which was blueprints for a weapon. Now, it wasn't like a magnificently different weapon. It was in modern equivalency, a slightly better tooled barrel for a rifle. But it was, for the Mechanicus, the Adeptus Mechanicus, this is better than gold because it's from the lost age of technology. And any of these things they can take to the fabricator plants and make more of. And it's the only way the Empire has technology. So to hold that back is blasphemy for their eyes against the machine god, but from the Imperium's eyes, just we're the only wall holding back the Xenos and Chaos and everything else. And the fuck. So this guy, we captured him. Inquisition had him, but he was not giving up these blueprints. And I think Nero got a shot at him only because he was a student. And at this point, it wasn't working for Billingberg, but it was kind of one of those essentially it's a cadaver in a training hospital. Yeah, sure. Yeah. If you they do this with plastic surgeons, sure, you can go learn to be a plastic surgeon on this cadaver because it literally we're incinerating it later anyway. So do what you want. And Nero went in and he came out an hour later. And although he'd left a pretty bad wreck behind him, the Gargarius Feroc the Seventh, though unable to now speak, had given up the location of this blueprint. So the reclamation of this blueprint earned him a fast track, which is all great. But Nero does not know a fucking thing about this. He's never heard of Gargarius Feroc the Seventh. He's certainly never heard anything about blueprints. But I think for me, it's one of those a natural oh, well, this all tracks with what I'm good at. There's also just a bit of because he is someone with the pride and ego. Just the fact that he doesn't fucking remember the thing that that his file says he's the best at fucking sucks. He would love to lord that over Seth, and he can't. So that's a real bummer for him. So that was the first one. The
second will be the case of Old Clintos.
Excellent. Case of Old Clintos was an odd one. Inquisitor. There are a lot of schools of thought in the Inquisition that eventually people just kind of break. And as a young Inquisitor, of course, that seems very silly. It's a little bit like being a 20-year-old watching someone with like bad knees and being like, oh, that'll never be me. Wait 10 years. It's always you. Old Clintock, was it?
Clintos.
Old Clintos was a record keeper in the Inquisitorial Academy that Nero was stationed at. And little things were going wrong across the station, and no one could fucking put together why. There was talk of conspiracies. There were like talk of heretics, Xenos, infiltration by chaos agents. But eventually Nero, just by spending enough time with people around, discovered that it was actually just old Clintos. He just snapped. He'd seen things he shouldn't have seen a bit too much. And as a result, Nero was able to kind of quietly smooth it over in a way that saved face. Clintos was, of course, dealt with soon thereafter. But in a notable sign of kind of charity, he signed his last possessions over to Nero before he went, which may have included some tomes that Nero probably shouldn't have read. But regardless, it was already on the fast track. It was one of those things that confirmed that the trust fund kid is actually very smart, rather than just he's a trust fund kid. So it was a combination of like ruthless interrogation and the intelligence to just look at simple things, and ironically now not look for a conspiracy, but instead do that Occam's razor Sherlock Holmes thing where it's just like, no, our records are fucked up because the record guy is fucked up. That's why the records are fucked up. And upending it. That gave Nero kind of a reputation for being a bit of a straight shooter. Again, really cool thing. Also, Nero thinks that Nero's dumb because obviously Horus was involved, but like, fine. So yeah, I think those are the two, and I don't think he references them necessarily. Like he probably references the case name, and I think it's just I get like flashes of what that is. While also awkwardly like nodding and chuckling about like the blueprint and how useful it's been on like the fucking crusade on whatever planet. Just be like, oh yeah, I'm glad I helped.
Yeah. Do you think you would be able to fully hide that you don't have these memories, or would you be not hiding it? Because Nero's kind of strained. So where do you see him at on this? Because we can either roll for it, but sometimes you're like, nah, he's not able to hide it.
I think Nero is being incredibly cagey about it in a way that he would think reads well. I don't think a roll is necessary here because like he is doing the like, I was great at that. But also realistically, I feel like Invictus would have such a good eye for this sort of stuff that even if he was trying to put it on him at 3 strain, I've just like held it together for like a solid hour. Mm-hmm. Like he's got nothing left. Mm-hmm. So no, I think it's very clear that I'm just kind of like looking up over my glass, nodding and smiling and saying, yeah, totally. I'm literally that guy in the bar who doesn't know anything about sports, being like, oh yeah, I hope our guys get the point score.
It's me. Interesting.
Yeah, I'm Tyler.
So you are. You extended your hand to me before. What gesture is this?
It's just sometimes nice to make a bit of contact with someone, just to really show them where you stand. Sometimes things can be a little bit unclear, but just that physical touch, it's a real sign that things are solid, that they're not they're not vapor, that they're not warp, that they're not illusions, that they're real. And I just wanted to extend that realness to you and to make sure that you were real,
Interesting.
And he'll peel off his right hand glove and extend his like weird little hand
and just be like, let us establish our reality together.
All right. And then suddenly I'll like look at him a little extra hard because it hadn't occurred to me that him wearing a glove might interfere with that. So I'm just, without breaking eye contact, pulling off the gauntlet and the glove, and I'll extend my arm as well.
Great. And he will take your hand. But while he does that, he will say,
think back to Gargarius Farrock the Seventh. Think back.
And Tom, can you roll me what feels like the skill you would use to remember something at a gut level? Like, what would be your anti-template skill if we wanted to choose one?
Well, given a particular setback I have as part of this character, a difficulty 3 willpower check would seem to be what is normally used to resist overriding the template. So I think it would make sense that I would lean on a willpower check in order to choose to access it. If that
I think that makes sense. Yeah, I will lower the difficulty by 1, so it'll go to 2 instead of 3 because his null powers might gift you. Content.
I also feel like I don't have any, like, whatever template is there, like the brain is just too tired to really put up any fight at this point. Okay, I dig that. Ryan, can I push for a boost?
I was gonna say I will spend a story point because I want this to succeed as my boy Invictus. So I will spend a story point to give you a better die.
Okay. Dig that. I would like to push for a boost. Nero's accidentally found a touchstone kind of through the haze. So while the drinking doesn't help, the weird memory of Glasgow Vicodin has nothing to do with anything in the template or anything he has access to. So I think he's already, like, in hypnotic terms, he's primed.
Yep, I would agree with that. Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Cool. I would also push for 1 setback because he's just fucking paranoid that this is
I think that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, I think also there's just going to be some resistance to diving into specific things as well. All
right. So I'm sitting at 1 green, 1 yellow from your story point, 2 purple, 1 blue, 1 black.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Groovy. Oh, baby, 5 successes. Let's go down that memory hole. Memento me, baby.
Yeah. Yeah. So what I would say is you actually get the full Gargarius Feroc the 7th case back. Like, it doesn't match anything else, but you're aware of everybody who was involved in it. You can actually remember the case now. Basically, you still have the other memories that you had before. So it's kind of like looking at a screen where the top image has been opaqued to like 20%. It's still a little bit there, but you can see the whole memory underneath. It starts and stops with that case. You don't remember your social life around it. You just remember the case and the elements that are there. But that staggers you in a big way. And he is very fascinated by your response. And Invictus just looks at you and goes,
yes, you have received a psychic template. Someone has overwritten your memories with something else. Interesting. Do you know why this was done?
And like tears kind of like quietly, like I'm not sobbing, but they were just like, quiet, angry tears rolling down my face. And I'll just lean forward, DiCaprio style, and put a hand on his shoulder and say, what do you know about Horus?
Interesting. This template could be something we could lift, and it could be good, or it could be tremendously bad.
Yeah, you didn't answer my question. What do you know about Horus?
This episode of the Valentyne Heresy features Tom McGee at McGeeTD on Twitter as Interrogator Nero Abagnale, Laura Elizabeth at EL Hamstring on Twitter as Piper Fairley, Tyler Hewitt at Tyler_Hewitt on Twitter as Seth Corbyn, Del Borovic at Deltastic on Twitter as Sister Olianne Mina, and our Game Master Ryan LaPlante at the Ryan LaPlante on Twitter. This episode was edited and mixed by Laura Hamstra, and the Valentyne Heresy's show logo was created by Decapitated Markers, at Decapitated Marker on Twitter, that's MRKR. Our theme song is The Hordes by Megan McDuffie, and our ads use the tracks No Control and Chiefs by Jazzar, JAHZZAR, provided by freemusicarchive.org. When it comes to Dum-Dums and Dice, you can visit our website at dumdumdice.com. Our Twitter and Instagram are at dumdumdice, and on Facebook at facebook.com/dumdumdice. We have merchandise available at redbubble.com/people/dumdumdice, and most importantly, you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/dumdumdice. That's DUMBDICE. Ave Imperator, and death to all the heretics.
Dum-Dums and Dice has to give a special thank you to the supreme beings of our Patreon at this time: Christian Menicola, the Half-Blind Prophet, Christopher Little, Sue One, George Dolby, One True Artistry, Orion Birchfield, Lord of Borovic, Noel Lewis, Scott Garland, Anthony Griffin, Benjamin V, Gavin and Abby McDonald, Cade Peters, Richard Cranium, Anna Zed, Eric Williams, Logan, Fire Unfriendly, Acrix, Cameron Ezel, Grandma Likes D&D, Alan, Austin Nut Powers Fry, Stabby Stranger, and Jill and Noel LaPlante. If you want your name to be added to this list, you can join our Patreon too at patreon.com/dumdumdice. Thanks to them, and a little bit of thanks to you.